We are being distracted, and majority of the space is playing into it, and we are going to be talking about it in this video. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video you do become a subscriber. If we take a quick look at my video from the other day, I discussed this 40 banks in China basically vanishing in 1 week. Now, what is the whole ordeal with these banks, disappearing, collapsing? Well, we're not only seeing the entire banking system be consolidated, we're also seeing the traditional system ultimately collapsing. And it's ushering in a new financial system. I'm sure that all of you are aware of that by now if you have been watching the channel. Even over here, we have why hundreds of US banks may be at risk of failure. This is just in the last couple months. I mean, this post was just the other day. This is July 11th. This is from May. And it all has to do with real estate. It's the same warning signs of 2008. I strongly encourage everyone to join the free Discord. There's going to be a link at the top of the description below. This is one of the most valuable and informative Discords out there, and it's completely free. There's a free side that has a ton of free crypto gems, free market strategies, guides, market trends, free charts, and there's also going to be new cheat sheets dropped in this Discord. And already we have a ton of testimonials from members of the Discord that have been absolutely loving it. So what are you waiting for? Go and click the link at the top of the description below and join the free Discord. Now, why am I bringing this back up? Why am I talking about it, right? Because we are being distracted, but by what? Well, over here we have a lot of fear mongering here by BlackRock CEO while peddling the Bitcoin narrative. Big shout out to Subjective Views for this. Listen closely to this.
Now, I know you have been a leader in willing to embrace crypto. You have made it so that people can be in Bitcoin. We hear that you are thinking about Ethereum. These are incredible things. Now, BlackRock is not known as a gunslinger by any means. So you obviously must believe that this may be as an alternative. Is this an alternative in order to be able, because of a deficit, maybe something long-term people should have?
Absolutely. As you know, I was a skeptic.
Yes.
I was a proud skeptic. And I studied it, learned about it, and I came away saying, okay, my opinion 5 years ago was wrong. Here's my opinion today. This is what I believe in today. I believe the opportunity today. I believe Bitcoin is legitimate. I'm not trying to say there's not misuses like everything else, but it is a legitimate financial instrument that allows you to have maybe uncorrelated, non-correlated type of returns. I believe it is an instrument that you invest in when you're more frightened, though. Right. It is an instrument when you believe that countries are debasing their currency, debasing their currency by excess deficits, and some countries are. I believe we have countries where you're frightened of your everyday existence, and if you have an opportunity to invest in something that is outside your country's control, then you can have more financial control. And so I'm a major believer that there is a role for Bitcoin in portfolios. I believe you're going to see that as one of the asset classes that we all look at. I look at it as digital gold, as I said before, and I do believe there's a real need for everyone to look at it as one alternative to, I would say, the optimism that I have in the world. If you want to hedge hope, Bitcoin is not an instrument for hope unless you're hopeful you're going to make a lot of money on it. But I look at it as a vehicle in which you're expressing your financial acumen in something that you're more frightened of the world, you're more frightened of your existence. And I believe there's a great industrial use for it. And I think a lot of people are missing that.
I couldn't agree more. I changed my mind about it when you did. You had been my thinking. It was like, you don't believe in it, so I can't believe it. I want to thank Larry Fink for the message of optimism.
Thanks.
And also for a great quarter. Larry Fink is the co-founder, chairman, and CEO of BlackRock, I think the most important investment company in the world.
Thanks, guys. Carl.
Now, let's take a quick step back. He's addressing the fact that Bitcoin becomes very, very lucrative when, we have debasements of currencies, we start to see the, traditional world around us we're betting on the collapse, basically. If you are holding Bitcoin, you're trying to escape that collapse. This was the original view of Bitcoin, right? But remember that this is on CNBC. It's on mainstream media. You have BlackRock, who 5 years ago did not care about crypto. Why are we seeing the sudden push for crypto now? Everyone can say, oh, well, it's because Larry Fink's very smart. He knows that Bitcoin is a very great, vehicle to get away from the traditional system. Let's be real here. The reason why BlackRock is pushing Bitcoin is because they make a ton of money off of individuals trading the ETFs. Not only that, but remember what I have said about Bitcoin. It is the biggest retail psyop out there. We are seeing Bitcoin being pushed in the middle of a cycle at a time where Bitcoin dominance is on the edge of a massive sell-off. I have been outlining this for weeks now. We are still in this range that, by the way, we have been in since going back to April, and we are just waiting for this thing to break down. We are seeing Bitcoin being pushed at a time where you should not even be looking at Bitcoin. You shouldn't even care about Bitcoin. You should be looking into altcoins, because Bitcoin is not going to make you rich this cycle. And I've outlined this on multiple occasions. But also, the number one thing to look at when it comes to Bitcoin is dominance. I said over on X, Bitcoin is the biggest psyop pushed to retail, and nothing will change my mind on that. Once the market doesn't rely on Bitcoin to move it anymore, it will be very interesting to see what happens next. And yes, because although we're still in a market heavily dominated by Bitcoin, right? We have to still rely on Bitcoin to move the markets. Guess what? Since going all the way back here to 2014, we can see that during the 2021 highs on Bitcoin dominance was still down 26.20%. Even currently speaking, it's down 45%. It has lost 45% of market dominance since going all the way back to 2014. We're not even talking about since inception. And also, if we're talking about this being the top here back in April, it is still down 42.70% from 2014. Bitcoin continues to lose share of this market. Now, obviously, yes, we have more and more coins, so Bitcoin will continue to lose dominance. But once regulations come into the space and we don't have to rely on Bitcoin, we're more so reliant on utility. What's the lucrative selling point for holding Bitcoin outside of, oh, it's a store of value, it's an escape from the traditional system? That can only be touted so much. That could only maintain its value for so long running on those, ideals. What's the actual value here? And by the way, as we really look at what BlackRock's goal here is, remember what their end goal is: tokenization. They know that a new world of finance is coming. They understand that the traditional system is breaking. It's collapsing. A new system is rising. Who will the winners be? Is it going to be Bitcoin? No. Bitcoin is not sustainable for financial use cases, especially at scale. When we're talking about tokenization, everything will be tokenized. You need something very scalable, very efficient for those types of financial use cases. This is why I say Bitcoin is the biggest psyop. Everyone loves Bitcoin right now, and it's because this market relies on it. But at what point do we have to step back and say, what's the actual value of Bitcoin? What's the whole point of holding Bitcoin? If it's just to kind of, lead the way for these bull and bear cycles, that's not going to last forever. So I do question what's really going to happen when Bitcoin is not moving the market anymore, and what happens once Bitcoin does get flipped, because that will be the major point of interest for Bitcoin, because at that point we see how strong Bitcoin really is in this market. And remember, we already know one asset that has really kind of flipped Bitcoin and even Ethereum, and that asset is XRP. Even though it was for a small time for Bitcoin, it did flip Bitcoin. Now, just recently, Ripple put out a report. It's asset tokenization today and tomorrow. This is from July 15th. I went over here and I summarized it with ChatGPT. We have asset tokenization currently valued at 3.5 billion. Could potentially grow to 16 trillion by 2030, presenting a huge market opportunity. However, several challenges are hindering its full potential, as discussed at the London Tokenization Policy Summit hosted by Ripple and Imperial College Business School's Center for Financial Technology. Key insights from the summit highlight the vast potential of tokenization, such as removing intermediaries, improving efficiencies, ensuring data protection, and enabling real-time settlement. Use cases include tokenized mortgages, consumer loans, property purchases, and enhanced capital flows for SMEs. Despite these benefits, mainstream adoption faces obstacles like the lack of special purpose vehicles, the need for cross-chain protocols, limited liquidity, and the need for simplified tokenization processes. To address these challenges, the focus should be on collateralization, valuation, and secure passkeys. Establishing a robust regulatory framework is crucial for sustainable growth, yet regulatory variance between countries and gaps in digital asset governance pose significant hurdles. Public and private collaboration, along with improved policies and understanding of tokenization benefits, are essential. The UK is actively working to boost digital innovation and compete globally by developing a new framework for crypto tokens and digital assets. Tokenization promises to enhance global financial efficiency, potentially reducing the 5 to 6% of global GDP lost annually to system friction. Achieving its full potential requires a coordinated effort involving banks, traditional finance players, regulators, and continuous education and collaboration. Now, mind you, yes, the UK is now officially ready to full on move towards a regulatory framework with tokenization and even crypto. Within this full breakdown, though, on Ripple's website, we could see the new financial framework. Like, this is basically the new framework for the new system. Like, these areas around the world, the UK, the UAE, even, you know, some of the other areas like Hong Kong and Japan, like, they are ready fully to push for crypto regulations. Europe with Mika was a big deal. And I told you guys that that's going to accelerate the push even more. Tokenization is the goal everywhere. This is going to lead us down the path to the new financial system. BlackRock's CEO, Larry Fink, back in December of 2022, even told us that the next generation for markets is tokenization. Guess what? That is not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not, you know, going to lead the way for tokenization. In fact, Bitcoin will be tokenized on other efficient networks because Bitcoin itself is very inefficient. Everyone will say Lightning Network. Guys, it's a layer 2 network that makes Bitcoin slightly efficient. But remember that the Lightning Network is very vulnerable to hacks, exploits, and it's not even consistent and efficient. So as we really look at what's going on here, focus on the facts. And also, remember that BlackRock actually highlighted the SEC suing Ripple case, right? We have BlackRock brought up the example of the SEC suing Ripple and its executives over the sales of XRP. In the years prior to the SEC's action, XRP's market capitalization at times reached over 100 billion. However, in the weeks following the SEC's complaint, XRP's market capitalization fell to less than 10 billion. Now, they noted this, but what they were talking about was the uncertainty around regulations. They were talking about how we need not only to have pro-crypto regulatory movements, but they also highlighted this in argument of their Bitcoin ETF, which means they are aware of the SEC. They are aware of what Ripple and XRP are doing. They're also aware of the SEC case. But outside of this as well, remember over here, they fully broke down, XRP and Ripple and the case. Leading into this, we also have a few players from BlackRock that also work at Ripple. Craig Phillips, director at Ripple. Remember that he left his leadership roles at Morgan Stanley and BlackRock to join Ripple. Also building on top of this, remember Robert Mitchnick? Yeah, he works at BlackRock. He used to work at Ripple. He was tied back to Ripple. Like, there's a lot of connections here back to BlackRock. Not only that, but remember Larry Fink being asked about an XRP ETF, he could not speak on that. Brad Garlinghouse could not speak on that. Why? What's really going on behind the scenes? But regardless of, if we're talking about Bitcoin or not, I think that we're starting to see a much bigger picture here, or at least I am, right? They're feeding the Bitcoin narrative. They're feeding the Bitcoin trap. Oh, it's Bitcoin, jump into Bitcoin, or even Ethereum, right? Everyone is forgetting about the focus of what Ripple is trying to do with XRP. Back in October of 2021, Mickey B. Fresh put out a great video clip, and this is actually from Bank XRP, but we have Ripple Managing Director of APAC and MENA. RippleNet was built as fiat payment network, but the end game is using to turn up on-demand liquidity using XRP in major corridors. We see new use cases for our technology in XRP around NFTs and tokenization. The World Economic Forum says 10% of the world's GDP will be tokenized by 2027. This is a focus of mine as well. It's just how big tokenization will grow to in just the coming years. Guys, tokenization is going to change everything. But this is where we start to see the big winners actually be realized in. This is where we start to see the antiquated tech in this space get pushed to the side because it cannot handle the scale of how big tokenization will be. Remember that you still need to transact tokenized assets. You need to have all the friction of the traditional world completely eviscerated. How do we do that? We utilize technology like XRP with Ripple payments. But check this out.
This is really the end game, is what can we do to turn that on with this blockchain technology and cryptocurrency to even accelerate that network. Now, this is really the end game, is what can we do to turn that on with this blockchain technology and cryptocurrency to even accelerate that network. So we have a product called on-demand liquidity, which is effectively using XRP, the digital asset, to settle between members of the network, between big corridors on that network. And again, do so in a way that has been highlighted today, that we can track who sent it, who received it, when did that happen, irrefutable, in a way that's faster, cheaper, and greener. And so we're really excited about this. We are doing this in building a big APAC headquarters in Singapore because we happen to think this is one of the great cities in the world to do so. From talent standpoint, market standpoint, APAC is a huge market for us. I also look after MENA, which is an incredibly important market as well, and the two are linked as far as trade flows and payment flows as you would expect. We are importantly kind of bringing it to this panel. We believe in doing this hand in glove with the regulators around the world. We do think that in this sector, that it's certainly better to be regulated and to have regulations that we can all play by. And we need to put ourselves in the way of regulators that are thinking in a forward fashion about this. And we certainly believe that Singapore is, Japan, the UK, Switzerland, some of these jurisdictions, which is why we're betting with people, real estate, and our business model here. And the last thing I'll hit on, because again, the topic today is largely around payments and blockchain and digital assets, exciting. I also think the NFT game is incredibly interesting. We do think there's other use cases for our technology, for the digital assets, and that can be around central bank digital currencies. It can be around NFTs. We do think there's other use cases for our technology, for the digital assets, and that can be around central bank digital currencies. It can be around NFTs. We actually believe and put a lot of faith behind this World Economic Forum report that says that just a huge percent, 10% of the world's GDP could be tokenized by 2027 in some form or another. And if you really
And remember that the World Economic Forum also predicted that 867 trillion. Now, mind you, this is back in 2021, 3 years ago. 867 trillion will be tokenized. When we really look at what's going on here, we're seeing the evolution of money, of everything of value. These networks that will be leaders in the tokenization revolution, they will be massive. You've probably heard the saying, Ripple is going to be like the new Amazon. All right, that's Ripple. Okay, outside of Ripple, let's actually focus on the technology here. The XRP ledger. The XRP ledger is extremely efficient. It's extremely efficient for tokenization, financial use cases, retail use cases. I mean, it is one of the leading networks in the space. It's one of the very few networks in this space that's extremely efficient and has been around for well over 10 years. The XRP ledger is tested. It's been tested for so long, 100% uptime, zero problems. A lot of people overlook that. But when you are a big name, whether it be, major banks like Bank of America, Citi, JP Morgan, it does not matter. Whether you are a major bank, a major, payments company, you are looking at the most efficient technology, the best in class technology, but the most trusted technology. How long has it been around? How much has it been trialed? How much has it been tested? And that's when we look at how big the XRP ledger and even XRP could be, because it's been around for so long and it's one of the most efficient networks in the space for payments and payment use cases. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.